The paralyzed poor girl only had $3 for her birthday, until the single dad next table walked over a Heartfelt Moments storytelling script. She sat alone at a corner table in a small diner, her wheelchair pressed close to the edge so she wouldn't be in anyone's way. On the table in front of her was a single cupcake, store-bought, the cheap kind, with too much frosting, and 3 crumpled dollar bills she had smoothed out carefully, like they were something precious. Because to her, they were. They were everything she had. Her name was Lily. She was 9 years old. And this was her birthday. Before we go any further, if stories like this move you, if you believe in the quiet power of human kindness, then you're in the right place. Welcome to Heartfelt Moments, where we share true stories that remind us all what really matters. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment below telling us about a time someone's kindness changed your day. Now let's get back to Lily. Lily had been paralyzed since she was 4 years old, after a car accident that took her mother and left her father, Gerald, working 2 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads. Gerald was a quiet man, broad-shouldered, always tired around the eyes. But he loved his daughter fiercely. He had promised her a birthday dinner at her favorite place, Manny's Diner, a small warm spot on the corner of Elm and 5th, in their town of Dayton, Ohio. But that morning, something went wrong at Gerald's second job. A miscommunication led to a docked paycheck. After buying Lily's cupcake and her new pair of warm socks, a practical gift she'd asked for because her feet got cold, Gerald had quietly counted what was left. Enough for Lily's plate. Not enough for his. He told her he wasn't hungry. She was 9, but she wasn't foolish. She knew. So there they sat. Lily with her grilled cheese, her cupcake, and her $3, money she'd saved from a neighbor who paid her 50 cents a week to water her plants. She had been saving for months, planning to buy her dad a gift. Instead, she whispered across the table, "Daddy, take my money, get something to eat." Gerald shook his head and smiled, the kind of smile that costs a person something to hold. "Baby, this is your birthday, you enjoy every bite." 2 tables over, a man named Daniel watched all of this happen. Daniel was a single father himself. He had his 7-year-old son Marcus with him. The boy was busy drawing dinosaurs on a paper placemat, completely absorbed in his own little world. Daniel had come in for a simple dinner after a long week at the auto shop where he worked. He wasn't rich. He drove a truck with a cracked windshield he kept meaning to fix, but he had enough. And sometimes enough, in the right moment, becomes everything. He had noticed Lily when they walked in. Her bright purple hair clips, the determined way she maneuvered her wheelchair to the table. He had noticed Gerald carefully reviewing the menu, then ordering just water for himself. He had noticed the 3 crumpled dollar bills on the table. Daniel didn't make a big announcement. He didn't film it on his phone. He simply leaned over to Marcus and whispered something in his ear. The boy looked up from his dinosaurs, glanced at Lily's table, and nodded with the solemn sincerity only a 7-year-old can muster. Daniel called their server over quietly. A few minutes passed. Then the server walked to Gerald and Lily's table with a plate of food, a hot beef stew, fresh cornbread, and a tall glass of sweet tea, and set it in front of Gerald. Gerald looked up, startled. I didn't order this." The server smiled. "Someone took care of it." She nodded subtly toward Daniel's table. Gerald turned. Daniel gave a small wave, nothing dramatic, nothing showy, and went right back to helping Marcus color in a triceratops. But that wasn't all. A few minutes later, Marcus walked over on his own, this little boy in light-up sneakers, clutching something behind his back. He stopped at the edge of Lily's wheelchair and held out his hand. It was a $5 bill, and a drawing, a crayon dinosaur, wearing a birthday hat, with "Happy Birthday" written in big wobbly letters across the top. Lily looked at the drawing, then at Marcus. Then she burst into tears. The good kind, the kind that come from a place so deep inside you didn't even know it was hurting. Marcus, apparently unaware that he had just broken and healed a little girl's heart in the same moment, simply said, "My dad says your birthday should be good. Also I like your purple clips." Gerald covered his face with one hand. When he looked up, his eyes were red. He walked over to Daniel, slowly, carefully, like he was carrying something fragile, and shook his hand without a word. Daniel just nodded. 2 dads. No speeches needed. Lily kept that crayon drawing. She taped it to her bedroom wall, right above her bed, where she could see it every morning when she woke up. She told her teacher about it the following Monday. Her teacher told the class. One of the parents heard and shared it on a local Facebook group. Within a week, Manny's diner was flooded with customers who wanted to pay it forward, leaving behind gift cards, notes, and tips so generous that Manny himself teared up behind the counter. All of it started with a man who simply paid attention, who saw someone struggling and chose not to look away. That's the thing about kindness. It doesn't ask for much from you. Just a moment of attention, just the willingness to act on what you see. Daniel didn't solve every problem Gerald faced. He didn't change the whole world. He just made sure one little girl's birthday felt like a birthday, and in doing so, he reminded an entire community, and maybe all of us watching right now, that we are not as alone as we sometimes feel. Look around you today. Someone nearby might be sitting at their own corner table, with their own crumpled $3, trying to hold a smile in place. You might be the person they never forget. All it takes is a wave, a warm word, or a crayon drawing of a dinosaur in a birthday hat. Be that person. The world needs more of them. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs a reminder that kindness still exists. Subscribe to Heartfelt Moments for more stories, just like this one. We'll see you in the next one.